A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to today's news analysis. We are doing the Indian Express Papers Chandigarh edition. And the focus of today's analysis is going to be briefly telling you what is important and what sources to read and how we can prepare for prelims and mains from today's newspaper. So, as we see today's news analysis, we see the following on the front page. So first we see a meeting of Prime Minister Modi and a UAE prince. So of course, the relationship between UAE and India, why UAE is important for India and all those things, that is important. It is covered later in the news analysis. Okay. Then we have an article of semiconductor sector. After Singapore, US ties up with India to boost the semiconductor sector. So semiconductor are used in electronics manufacturing particularly. Then today we have this EV space also. Further, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, all of this is going to increase the demand for semiconductors. Previously, I had told you that semiconductor diplomacy is something that is emerging, and we need to consider that. Okay. So first of all, as far as this article is concerned, so this basically means that India and US are going to collaborate on the semiconductor sector, right? And the US has passed a law known as the CHIPS Act. Here it is mentioned, CHIPS Act 2022. And under this, a fund was created, International Technology, Security and Innovation, ITSI. So they are going to see as to how both countries can work together and increase the ambit of semiconductor partnership diplomacy, etc. Okay. Now I want you to read this article, The Geopolitics of the Semiconductor Industry and India's Place in It. Furthermore, especially from prelims point of view, what are the semiconductor related initiatives that are floating that needs to be covered? For instance, India has a India Semiconductor Mission. So this is there, right? So this is of course India's mission, and semiconductor related whatever policies are there by the government are mentioned over here. This is the PIB. I will share the link. So scheme for setting up semiconductor fabs in India, that is manufacturing of semiconductors, PCBs, etc. Display fabs, design linked incentive scheme, right? So all these initiatives are listed over here. You can see it in the bold. Okay. So this is it. And this comes under Ministry of Electronics and IT, something which UPSC can ask you. Okay. So then there is a CHIPS 4 Alliance, CHIP 4 Alliance, CHIP 4 as numerical, which is also known as Fab 4, and it comprises of countries of US, Japan, Taiwan, and Korea. Fine, so one more initiative we get. So we need to keep an eye on semiconductor related initiatives that are floating, because this is obviously important for prelims. And a theme like this is important for mains, so we should keep this in mind. In fact, it will be nice if you can summarize this article in your own words. Okay, so let's move forward. Finance Ministry rejects agri move for higher incentives to push natural farming. So natural farming is referred to. So natural farming means sustainable farming with no use of chemical fertilizers, right? So natural means are to be used. Now here, of course, we need to have a definition prepared on natural farming plus natural farming related initiatives, zero budget natural farming, organic farming related initiatives. So all that needs to be prepared, right? Now, as far as our government is concerned, all the things under natural farming are under a mission known as National Mission on Natural Farming, right? So again, here you can find there is the mention of a scheme, Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Padhati, right? This is mentioned. Then National Standard of Organic Production. So this is being done. This is being managed by the ICAR. Then there is a definition of climate smart agriculture. Basically, the things that the government is doing to promote natural farming, that is mentioned over here. And of course, it is also telling you about what is natural farming. Okay. Yeah, the proposal over here was Agri Ministry proposed that the farmer should be given rupees 20,000 per hectare, right, to have those schemes implemented. 20,000 per hectare. It may not be very profitable as compared to the conventional means of farming that we have, fertilizers and hybrid seeds, etc. So the profitability may be low, so and input cost will be low. So if we move to natural farming, the cost will increase. So why not have a higher subsidy spend? So 20,000 was proposed from an earlier approved 15,000. Okay. Now the prior approved rupees 15,000 was done by Expenditure Finance Committee. So this is Expenditure Finance Committee. So we get to know, okay, fine, under Finance Ministry, there is a Department of Expenditure. And under this, there is Expenditure Finance Committee, and this makes approvals. So they have denied. They said it's beyond what we have accepted, so we cannot go forward. Okay, let's move forward. Now we'll just skip the news. You again see the semiconductor thing is mentioned. US ties up with India. Same thing is mentioned. Critically endangered elongated tortoise spotted in Aravallis for the first time. And this species is known as, the scientific name is mentioned over here. You need to read basic features about this also, because this can be helpful for your prelims. Then where it is found, what is the IUCN status? These are things that can be asked in the prelims. Okay, let's move forward. In Kashmir politics, elections are there, so we have more politics related news. Okay. Now remember the front page, and we saw a meeting between Prime Minister Modi and a UAE leader. So, and I told you we should keep in mind the interest between the two countries. So here we go. So they have some pact with regards to nuclear technologies. So nuclear. Then UAE, as we know, it is in the Saudi Peninsula. It's one of the countries which is rich in natural gas, fuel, crude, etc. So a project to have LNG, liquefied natural gas, from UAE to India. Furthermore, UAE is investing in India, investing in India in the sense of, again, crude only. So it is creating the strategic reserves, so that when the fuel prices go up and down, the India has sufficient fuel as reserves over here. So it is not very vulnerable to the fluctuations in the international crude prices. So UAE is providing us this funding and technology to create those reserves. So this is being done with a partnership with India's Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. Now, where are these reserves being created? This has already been asked in the prelims before. So this is namely in 3 locations: Visakhapatnam, Bangalore, and Padur. So UAE is doing it, and it says that one of the reserves has to be allocated to UAE. Okay, so this is it. Besides, I can tell you there are a couple of other things also. UAE is a member of course, it's a Saudi country. So India UAE ties have a bearing on the Islamic world, plus the Saudi relationships. So that also is there. Plus UAE has a lot of capital which has to be spent, right? They have to earn money on that. So that money can be invested into India, and India needs capital. A lot of these tolls that we have, the highways, etc., they are being, the funding is coming from the UAE under toll operate transfer model. Existing highway is being sold, or the rights are given, and by taking a lump sum from a UAE based company, and they can then keep collecting tolls from there, something like that. Okay. So a number of things are there, plus of course internal security related things. Then we have diaspora in UAE. So those things are also a factor. Now we move to the editorial and opinion section. So I'm just doing this one, audacity of a mission, that is Swachh Bharat mission, and National Research Foundation. So these two things I'm going to mention. You must have seen already that Swachh Bharat mission articles are there. The reason is very simple. 10 years of this scheme have happened. So, of course, an assessment of the good and the bads, mainly the good given the UPSC pattern these days, of the Swachh Bharat mission has to be covered. Right. So 10 years of the scheme is there, how it has improved in the realm of safety and dignity, health and economy. So Swachh Bharat mission scheme basically says that open defecation should be stopped. Right, people should not defecate in the open. So of course it will lead to safety, dignity, health as well as economy. Economy in the sense that less spending on healthcare, less spending on diarrhea and all those things, the health related issues that happened. So that will come down. Some facts are mentioned over here. For example, the mission saved the lives of 60-70,000 infants. We can say IMR and MMR has declined because of this, one of the factors. Then the out of pocket expenditure has come down, rupees 50,000 annually has been saved on medical fees, because which could have been because of the illness caused by open defecation. Then some other initiatives are also mentioned over here. Then we have a win-win for academia industry. This talks about the Anusandhan National Research Foundation. Okay. So it's a very old news actually. This is an initiative to promote research and development in educational institutions or tertiary education in India. Okay, so R&D spend creating a culture of research and development, patents, etc. within India, and this is modeled on the countries of US, Germany, South Korea, Israel, which are the pioneers in technology and research and development. Okay, so this scheme is basically it creates a fund under this NRF. It creates a fund. This fund is about rupees 50,000 crores for 5 years. It will be funding institutions in universities and state level colleges. It will be providing funding for research related works. It will be sponsored by the union government, and a part of it will also come from industry, non-governmental sources. So industry and philanthropists, so they will be also providing the funding. So the scheme, the article is basically saying that having money from industry as well is good, because industry has a stake in research and development within the country. And plus research and development will then be more directed towards the market needs. So it will be more relevant. That's it. Okay. International related news. Israel's deadliest strike inside Syria. So again, Syria-Gaza violence that is mentioned over here. China announces drill with Russia this month. So it will be in the, it basically symbolizes the growing China-Russia relationship. And Russia is a friend of us, right? But we have an adversarial relation with China. So the complexities between India, Russia, China, that can be seen, not mentioned in the article, but that is something that we can consider. Okay, let's move to economy related news. As copper mining stalls and imports surge, players are high overseas assets. Okay. Thing is that copper is becoming very important, especially because of the semiconductor sector emerging. So copper is a very important mineral for that. So it is actually getting the status of a critical mineral these days. Okay. So its role in clean energy technologies like wind energy, EV batteries, etc. Now, India, of course, does not have so much of copper reserves. We have limited resources. But there are other countries like Mongolia, Zambia, Chile. So we are investing in those countries and trying to get copper from there. So that is the idea. That's what the article is basically talking about. Okay. Government dissolves Standing Committee on Statistics. This is concerning actually because, of course, this should not happen. And one of the concerns were that the committee had raised concerns about the delay in conducting of census. Census provides us critical data for policymakers, the assessment of the government's performance, all those things are there. But the census has been delayed. So 2011 census, so next should have been 2021, latest 2022, we are already in 2024. Okay. So actually that's all we have from today's news analysis. Thank you for streaming into this channel, IS Primers with me, Shubhashish.